Hey there everyone, it's Elmarie, Callsign KJ5LXP, and for today we're going to be taking a look back at Meshtastic. We're going to be looking over how to set up your own private Meshtastic network. I haven't explored Meshtastic for some time since I acquired my general license, but I think it's time to come back to it. What's great about Meshtastic is that you don't even need an amateur license to get started. Today we're going to be taking a look at building your own private mesh network. So without further ado, let's get started. So why create a private network? When most people first get started with Meshtastic, they connect to the public channel just to see what's happening on the network. It's a great way to learn how everything works and discover other nodes nearby. But once you get comfortable with the system, creating your own private Meshtastic network can actually be much more efficient. A private network lets your devices communicate on an encrypted channel that only your group can access. Instead of sharing a busy public channel with everyone in range, your messages stay within your group. That makes communication clearer and more organized, especially if you're coordinating with friends, family, or a small team out in the field. And it means your group can stay connected even in places where cell service simply doesn't exist. Okay, you've just picked up your new board and you're ready to start building your private network. You might be tempted to turn it on right away, but hold on for just a second. Before turning the board on, make sure your antenna is connected. Powering on the device without the antenna attached can potentially damage the radio. So first, go ahead and install the antenna. If your device also came with a GPS module, make sure that's connected as well before powering it on. While the GPS isn't strictly required to turn the device on, it's good practice to have everything connected and ready before you start using your board. If your kit came with an attachable display, go ahead and attach that. The kit that I'm using is the Wio Tracker L1 kit, and it comes with this ink-like display. It's actually super cool. Just make sure you align the pins appropriately based on the numbers on the ribbon of the display and the board where the clamps are. Now that everything is connected, we can go ahead and power on the board using a USB-C cable. Depending on where you purchase your device, whether it's from Seed Studio, LilyGo, or Heltec, your board may already come with Meshtastic firmware installed, or you might need to install it yourself. For example, many Heltec boards like the V3 or V4 usually require you to flash the Meshtastic firmware before you can start using them. The good news is the process is pretty simple using the Meshtastic web flasher. I've actually made a full video walking through the process step by step, so you should see an info card above that you can click if you need help installing the firmware. In my case, this Wio Tracker L1 already came with Meshtastic pre-installed, so it's basically plug and play. That means once everything is connected, I can simply plug the board in and power it on to get started. If you haven't already, you're going to need to install the Meshtastic app on your phone. Thankfully, it's available on both iOS and Android, so go ahead and download the Meshtastic app before continuing. Once the app is installed, open it up. The app will ask you to connect to a device. Select the device you want to connect to. If this is your first board, you should only see one available. When you select it, the app will ask you to enter the PIN number that appears on your device's display. Go ahead and enter that now. After you enter the PIN, the device may reboot. Once it finishes, you'll reconnect automatically. Next, you'll need to set your LoRa region. This is important because it ensures the device is operating on the correct frequencies for your country. Since I'm in the United States, I'll select United States. After that, choose Long Range Fast, which is a common preset for most setups. Once that's done, you can leave the rest of these settings as they are and select Save. Your device may reboot again, so just give it a moment. After the reboot, your phone should reconnect automatically. Now we're connected and ready to start setting up our first private network node. Before we do that though, I like to name my board. This helps you identify which device you're connected to, especially if you have multiple nodes like I do. To do this, go to Settings, then rename your device. Once you enter a name, select Save, and the board will reboot again. Once it reconnects, we're ready to set up our private channel. To begin creating your private network, go to Settings, then Channels, and select New. From here, you can name your private channel. I'm calling mine Private 2 because I previously experimented with another private channel and wanted to start fresh. For the key, you can leave it as the default. I also leave Allow Position Requests enabled, but I keep Precise Location turned off for privacy reasons since that would show your exact position. Now that the channel has been created, the easiest way to share this network with your other nodes is by using a shared QR code. Go back into Settings, then choose Share QR Code. This part is a little bit awkward, but what I usually do is share the link to myself, usually through text message. That way I can easily open that link when setting up my other boards. This link contains channel configuration, which lets other boards join your private network quickly. Now grab your second board and connect it using the app. You'll follow the same setup process again. Connect using the pin, set your LoRa region, and choose long range fast. It's important that these settings match the first board so the devices can communicate properly. Once you're connected to the second board, open the link you sent yourself and select save. This will apply the same channel configuration to this device. You might see an error that says failed to save channel configuration. I've noticed this happens, but in my experience, it still works fine. The board will reboot and reconnect. Once it reconnects, swipe over to messages, and you should now see the same private channel that we created on the first board. Now we can do a quick test. I'll type test and send a message from this board. You'll see the other board will receive the message right away. And just like that, the two devices are communicating over our private channel, meaning no other Meshtastic nodes can see these messages. From here, you can keep expanding the network using the exact same process. For example, I'll grab a third board. One of the cool things about Meshtastic is that the boards don't have to be the same model. For example, this one is a Heltec V4, while the others are Wio Tracker boards. As long as they're running the same firmware and have the same settings, they'll be able to communicate. So let's connect a new board, apply the shared channel again, let it reboot, and now it joins the same private network. If we send another message, you'll see all the boards receive it. And if we open the Nodes tab, you'll start to see the network building. Each node can now see the others in the mesh. You can keep repeating this process for as many nodes as you want. Finally, if you want to make these nodes portable, I definitely recommend using small rechargeable lithium batteries, so you're not relying on USB cables. There are also tons of 3D printable cases available online that make it really easy to build clean, portable nodes. And that's basically it. That's how you create and expand your own private Meshtastic network. As you can see, it's a little messy. I mean, we have this guy got all these like wires kind of just hanging around. If that will focus, there it goes. You could go ahead and purchase an all-in-one system. All-in-one systems are going to be a little bit more expensive. However, this is messy. Let's give it a proper encasing. And so you know what that means? Let's go to the 3D printer. All right, so as that last print is going, I'm gonna wrap up our video here. If you try this out for yourself, definitely let me know. If you need any help, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I check my emails basically daily. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. But if you are able to set up your own private mesh network, please let me know. I would love to see what you guys have been able to do with your own private networks and different ways that you've utilized your networks. If you like this video, definitely hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, and think about sharing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.